From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, another bomb scare in Kaduna as residents were abducted in fresh attack. Police in Borno arrest suspects with 4 rocket-propelled grenades and other ammunitions. Court of Appeal upturns sacking of Ebonyi State Governor. And on the foreign scene, Zelensky warns Russian forces regrouping to attack South Donbas region as UN wants members of the refugees crosses 4 million. Hello and welcome to News Hour. I am Diran Onifade, the news in full. Barely 24 hours after police anti-bomb squad demobilized an explosive at a Shanono area of Rigasa community in Kaduna State, another explosive was discovered by the community on Friday afternoon. The explosive was demobilized by the Nigeria police member of the community called on government to be more proactive to ensure that more lives are not lost.
This thing is shocking.
Last night, we didn't sleep because of tension of the bomb discovered yesterday and another one today. We are crying for help. We want government to come to our aid.
At least 3 persons have been killed and 20 others kidnapped as gunmen suspected to be terrorists invaded Ongwan Bulus in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State on Thursday. The attack is coming few days after the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, which many are yet to recover from. The report.
Chikun local government area of Kaduna State has been witnessing bandits' attack in recent times. The latest attack by suspected terrorists at Ongwan Bulus, a suburb of Sabum Tasha, left 3 persons killed and 20 others abducted, according to community sources. It was sorrow and tears as members of the community narrated their ordeal. The residents said it was the 4th time their community is coming under attack, with the latest sparking fear and confusion.
Since yesterday, you strengthened me since yesterday. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Mary Yakubu is a mother whose sick son was killed in the attack.
Before I know, the boy, whenever he's not feeling well, he just leave me. From there, because they're there on the road here, when he run inside, they just shoot him.
In fact, she even plugged water on. Plugged water to bath, and when they took her, she left the water, the heater, and the water was boiling. It was when my husband came that he off the litter. So when he came back, he told me that it is like our daughter has been picked because there is no trace of her.
The residents believe that government has the capacity to address the incessant attacks in the state.
They shoot my friend, kill my friend, they shoot my other colleagues, kill my friend. I don't know how I will took. I don't know which level. I'm very confused by them.
For now, most of the residents have fled their homes while appealing to government for more security presence in the community.
Suspected armed bandits on Thursday killed at least 17 people in attacks on 4 villages in Anka local government area of Zamfara State. Residents said the armed men invaded Kada Daba community in the afternoon and shot sporadically at them. A resident simply called Urez Usaini said gunmen arrived on motorbikes and opened fire at people who just finished observing Suhoor prayer. 10 people were killed in the community. The armed men were reported to have also raided Rafin Jero community, carting away cattle that were brought to the livestock market for sale. The Borno State Police Command says it has arrested 46 suspects for criminal offenses ranging from kidnapping, child trafficking, armed robbery, rape, and culpable homicide, among others. One of the suspects was arrested for trafficking in a 3-year-old child, while another was arrested for raping a 92-year-old woman. The report.
The arrests were made in the first quarter of 2022 by the Maiduguri Police Command as part of efforts to curb crime in the state. The command also said it is investigating 25 criminal cases of kidnapping, criminal conspiracy, theft of firearm, and possession of dangerous weapons. The Borno Police Command Public Relations Officer Sani Kamilu said its patrol operatives recovered anti-aircraft ammunition, 4 RPGs, cash, 1 pump-action gun, and 517 live ammunition, among others.
Now a case of rape. On the 24th of March 2022 at about 13:00 hours, one Usman Haruna M. of Askira Uba, local government area of Borno State, reported at Askira Uba Division that one Zakaria Yahu of 46 years old of the same address forcefully had a carnal knowledge with one Wamdubu Bello F, 92 years old.
Among the 46 suspects, one Bilikisu Ali was nabbed for child trafficking, while one Clement Asuk was arrested for possession of arms and ammunition.
Me, I know that if I refuse this, is the community that are sending, Jola is the community that are sending me for it. If I refuse, I should know the implication of it, that the community will regard me as I'm standing with the enemy. If they could help me so that the soldier could also testify from there, if the government decides, by God's grace, they could say, okay, they should pay pardon on me.
I was under the influence of drugs. I took the white one called Arizol. I regret my action. I called on youth to stop intake of illegal drugs.
Wallahi ban sani ba. Ni ma na yi nadama abin da na yi ne. Na ce ni ma na yi nadama abin da na yi.
Tun yaushe kike wannan hali? I don't know what pushed me into this. I'm worried over what I did. I've never done it before. One man asked me to bring the baby to him so he will give to one barren woman. The police command said other criminals at large will also be apprehended, assuring that it will update the public after concluding its investigations.
The Imo State Police Command has said that its operatives have repelled an attack on the Mberi Police Division in Baitoli local government area by gunmen suspected to be members of the Eastern Security Network, a militia arm of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the early hours of Friday. Confirming this in a press statement, the public relations officer of the Imo State Police Command, Mike Abatam, said the hoodlums who came in their numbers through improvised explosive devices, IEDs, into the station and shot sporadically. He added that the IEDs and gunshots affected some vehicles parked within the premises and shattered roofs and windows within the police premises. Abatam explained that police operatives attached to the division also engaged the hoodlums, forcing them to retreat in panic. The police spokesman further stated that investigations are ongoing and efforts are being made to arrest the fleeing hoodlums. Several laborers are feared killed, while others have been trampled as a one-story building collapsed in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, on Friday. Daily Trust gathered that the building, which is under construction, collapsed while many laborers were working. The building, located close to the Taraba State Polytechnic, Jalingo, is said to be owned by a popular building materials dealer. Relatives of the laborers were said to have staged a protest over the incident. Daily Trust revealed that lack of rescue equipment is hampering rescue efforts as the operation is being carried out by the local community. Police spokesperson DSP Usman Abdullahi confirmed the incident and said 3 dead bodies were removed from the collapsed building while many laborers remained trapped. Security operatives have taken over the Lekki Toll Gate and the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge following reports of a planned protest today against tolling. Our correspondent reports that over 28 police vans are stationed at the Lekki-Ikoyi roundabout alongside LCC officers, LASMA, and Lagos State Task Force. The Court of Appeal sitting in Enugu on Friday upheld the February 28th decision of the Abakaliki High Court bordering on the defection of Governor David Umahi and his deputy Kelechi Igwe from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress APC. In a 37-minute judgment read on the floor of the court, Justice Belgore held that the appeal lacked merit, adding that the cases cited are totally irrelevant to the matter brought before the court. The lead judge further pointed out that the removal of elected officials, in this case Governor Umahi and his deputy, lies in the hands of the legislature and must be in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The judge specifically cited Section 308 of the Constitution and pointed out that no legal action can be taken against a sitting president and vice president, as well as a governor and its deputy. He therefore dismissed the appeal with a 200,000 naira fine against the defendant. Former military president Ibrahim Babangida wants those aspiring for the presidency to put Nigeria above other interests. Former Senate President Bukola Saraki and Governor of Bauchi, Bala Mohammed, and that of Sokoto, Aminu Tambuwal, visited Babangida at his hilltop residence in Minna, Niger State. Babangida counseled the PDP presidential aspirant to work for the benefits of Nigeria and generations yet unborn. He promised to support the group so long as they stay on the course of promoting Nigeria, making it a secure country. Earlier, the former two-time governor of Kwara State had said they were in Minna as part of consultations and talking to elders and stakeholders. Factional crisis rocking All Progressives Congress APC in Zamfara State has taken another dimension as Senator Kabiru Marafa-led faction accused the party of unfair treatment to members. Marafa told journalists while removing APC billboards and posters from the factional secretariat in Guzo that his faction awaits the judicial pronouncement on the crisis. The report.
Senator Kabiru Marafa says that the All Progressive Congress APC has offended the people of Zamfara State, prompting his faction to remove the party symbols and billboards. He says they remain in the APC to prove a point to certain individuals that former Governor Abdulaziz Yari and Senator Kabiru Marafa-led fractions are bona fide members of the party, contrary to the lies being sprayed that they are not genuine members of the APC.
APC has not been just and fair to the people of Zamfara State, I can tell you this, okay? So if the people of Zamfara State wake up today and clean or erase APC in all their houses, I think they have done the right thing. The only thing why we remain in APC, like I said in my speech, is to prove some points. One of them, some of them are going about lying to people that we are not members of APC. We challenge them on national television. Send us out if you fit. We built APC. Nobody, APC didn't build us.
Senator Marafa disclosed that APC has more than 260 cases pending in court, and he believes that one of the cases will see the light of the day at the Supreme Court.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. University graduate turned vulcanizer. Plus, how cost of diesel cripples radio stations. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take another look at some of our top stories. Residents of Shanono in Rigasa area of Kaduna discovered another improvised explosives device on Friday. The device was detected 24 hours after an IED concealed in a bucket was found. And the police in Borno have arrested suspects with anti-aircraft weapons. Moving to other news, the United Kingdom has warned against travelers to 7 states in the north following the rising spate of insecurity in Nigeria. According to a travel advisory on the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office website, the affected states are Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Gombe, Katsina, Kaduna, and Zamfara. It further warned that there is a threat from extremists linked to Boko Haram or the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. The travel advisory called on those working in the Northeast to be fully confident in the employer's ability to extract them from the region in the event of any emergency. Apart from the attacks faced by trains in recent times, another common challenge affecting the rail transport system is the vandalism on railway tracks and sleepers. Abubakar Abdullahi visited some areas where these facilities have been vandalized and reports that it has become an issue that requires urgent attention. The report.
At a time the federal government is making efforts to revitalize the railway transport system across the country, some people who many describe as saboteurs have continued to vandalize the rail tracks and sleepers. Nasarawa State, which before now is one of the routes train passes through to other parts of the country, has been cut off due to vandalism of the infrastructure. In some of the places visited, rail track sleepers were completely removed and parked to unknown destinations, while at other communities the facility has been removed and waiting to be evacuated by the vandals.
To be frank, we don't know how they are doing it because they came and operate here and we are living in this village. But we only wake up and discover that the tracks are removed. Like this one is about to be evacuated, but we don't know how it was done. I am calling on the vandals to stop this kind of attitude because it's not good. The facility is for the public benefit. With this attitude, yet to be unborn children might not know the existence of railway here. Government should take measures against the vandals.
Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is among the leading security agencies fighting the menace of track vandalism. Public Relations Officer of the organization in the state said the organization is sparing no effort in the fight against railway vandalization, noting that several arrests have been made.
A lot of machineries have been put in place to curtail this menace in Nasarawa State. For the past few months, we have a lot of arrests. If you go to most of these areas where this railway track passes, I am telling you, it will break your heart, to see that government are investing heavily on this infrastructure. But at the end of the day, the bad eggs within us are sabotaging the efforts of the government.
At the Nasarawa State Command of the NSCDC are intercepted vehicles loaded with tracks and sleepers. The NSCDC PRO said investigations are ongoing on the items.
A lecturer of political and international relations in the University of Abuja, Professor Sharif Gali, says strengthening cooperation in the area of peace and security with China will prevent a recurrence of attacks on the railways. Gali said this while speaking to journalists on the sidelines of a seminar on promoting win-win cooperation and building better friendship organized by the China Alumni Association in Nigeria. Ghali said as long-standing friends, China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, have made several infrastructural investments in Nigeria, including the railway system, which should be protected for sustainability. The president, China Alumni Association of Nigeria, Mohammed Suleiman, said the event was organized to better enlighten Nigerians on the relations between Nigeria and China.
More collaboration must be cemented, in the area of peace and security, because His Excellency Ambassador Sui Zhenchun had actually proposed in his goals, in this particular collaboration, that is military collaboration. Military collaboration, introducing new equipment, military equipment to Nigeria, introducing intelligence sharing, between Nigeria and China, as well as new technologies. So this should be done in our, defense sector as well as businesses.
Essentially, we have looked at the ways our relationships have been. So the China-Nigeria relations, we want, to go beyond what is government to government, and now also to people to people. There are advantages out there that an ordinary Nigerian is supposed to take. But knowing that nobody has been talking about this publicly, and then it's just like to say the extension, because what it means is that if we say Belt and Road Initiative, what does it mean? So people really need to know. Forum on China and Africa Cooperation, what does it mean really? So if people don't know this, so there's nothing like you achieving anything necessarily. So
this new initiative, we strongly advocate that harmony in coexistence, harmony in integration, harmony in diversity, harmony in development. At the higher level, we promote peace and consonance between our countries through excellent governance.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has begun a sensitization campaign on fire prevention and control at internally displaced persons camps in Borno State. In the past few months, IDP camps have suffered fire outbreaks, resulting in loss of lives and property. The report.
Fire outbreaks have been a recurring incident in Maiduguri metropolis, and most especially in internally displaced camps. According to statistics, Borno State has recorded about 115 fire outbreaks in the first quarter of 2020. The alarming incident has caused more humanitarian crisis and hardships on the IDPs who had seen their shelter razed down. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and stakeholders on sensitization exercise were at some IDP camps to enlighten the displaced persons on dangers of fire disaster and how to cope the reoccurrence of fire threats.
But I think for this area, this is the second or third time that fire is happening.
What is your message?
They should be very careful about fire. In a setting like this, fire is very easily to spread over, and therefore whenever they want to use fire, they have to be very, very careful.
The causes of the fire incidences is carelessness, and this carelessness comes as a result of cooking utensils or cooking unattended to. Most of the time you found out that, okay, they will be cooking and they will be doing something else. Cooking is a program that when you are doing it, you don't involve anything again. You concentrate on the cooking. When you finish, you put out the fire and then you continue with others.
Some IDPs said they are well informed and will adhere to safety precautions of preventing fire outbreaks.
Fada munji maganan shi gobe da munji har wuta akan taba akan siyan taba.
We learned that it's not good to smoke in the vicinity where it can cause fire outbreak, and we shouldn't cook at open place or when it's windy because it can easily spread the flames to thatched houses. The sensitization campaign was also extended to other IDP camps and communities within the Maiduguri metropolis.
The Borno State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 7 suspects involved in theft and vandalism. Parading the suspects before newsmen at the Civil Defense Headquarters in Maiduguri, the State Commandant, Musa Farouk, said the suspects were arrested for vandalizing electrical cables and railway tracks. Farouk added that its control operatives also recovered premium motor spirit, PMS, from the suspects.
On the 28th March 2022, at about 09:30 hours, we arrested one Sanda Ali, a male, 15 years, Mohamed Baba Mustafa, a male, 17 years old, Gaji Kachala, a driver to a Golf saloon car, with which they conveyed several railway assets. For instance, irons, 60 pieces of railway irons, 7 pieces of railway sleepers. These acts, you all agree with me, offend the spirit of Nigerian economy. These guys are saboteurs, and they'll be treated within the framework of justice. May I sound warning to all the criminal elements involved in vandalism of government assets and infrastructure that we will pursue them until the end is put off. We will not tolerate the continuous vandalism of our governmental assets, particularly in Borno State, that has been devastated over time as a result of insurgency. In the aspects of electricity, the good people of Kano and Borno have been put into darkness for over 12 years now.
Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has urged security agencies to go after criminals and intensify security to protect lives and property in the state. Governor Soludo made the call at Nnewi South Local Government Area, Ukpo Secretariat, attacked by arsonists on Wednesday night. The governor inspected the building set ablaze by the hoodlums, which includes Works Department, Education Building, Traditional Council Office, Public Complaints Commission, and Property Department offices. Soludo, who was accompanied by the State Commissioner of Police, Echeng, and other heads of security agency, condemned the attack, describing it as mindless and very unfortunate.
The money that should have been used to hire teachers, the money that should have been used to pave roads, the money that should have been used to provide water, the money that should have been used to provide the basics to the people, will now be used to start rebuilding the buildings. Who is the loser? Who loses? We had bleeds for the man in the street, for the common man, because it is the man in the street, that Okada rider, that woman that sells pepper by the roadside in the market. That's the person who is going to pay for this. Because the money to be used to repair this is the money that should have been used for their benefit. The security agencies will get to the bottom of it, but I tell you not to despair. No amount of arson or bloodletting will bring down the spirit of Anambra. Yes. We are strong and we'll keep getting stronger. Nnewi South, Ukpo, will be stronger for it. We can't let them prevail over the 99.9% innocent people who go about their businesses, toil every day. We are hardworking people. We respect life, we respect property, because that's the foundation of our society.
Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya has faulted the formula for distribution of federal projects, saying it violates the federal character principles. The governor, while hosting the leadership of the Federal Character Commission on a courtesy visit, said the Northeast is being shortchanged in federal projects distribution. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya said there is no equal distribution of federal projects in the Northeast region, and the people of Gombe are mostly affected.
Ibadan, Lagos,
Ibadan, Abuja, Ilorin, Kaduna, and subsequently Kano. To the extent that now, when rails are being made up, an extension is being taken to Maradi, the Niger Republic, to the detriment of our people here. One would have thought that by this day, the rail line that came to Gombe since 1962 would have been extended to Yola and to Jalingo so that we could connect to Cross River and the rest of the southeast.
Governor Inua Yahya is also worried that all roads that connect Gombe to the neighboring state in the northeast are dilapidated. These include Gombe-Bauchi Road, Gombe-Biu Road, Gombe-Yola Road, and Gombe to Damaturu, Yobe State. Earlier, the Executive Chairman, Federal Character Commission, highlighted some of the objectives of the commission.
Is to ensure fair and equitable distribution of social services, economic amenities, and infrastructural facilities among the federating units throughout the federation. Your Excellency, what Commission has been focusing on the fourth mandate in its 22 years of existence. I'm happy today to report to you that the mandate on the equitable distribution of social services and economic amenities has now taken off for you.
From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Now to something rather interesting. Adam Husseini graduated from the University of Jos, but instead of waiting for white-collar jobs, he took to vulcanizing to make ends meet. Operating at Line Sariki Street of Jos North Local Government Area of Plateau State, Husseini explains why he remains a vulcanizer despite being a university graduate. Let's take a look.
Husseini said he started learning the job from his father during his childhood and was subsequently settled by his father and given the go-ahead to start on his own. He said apart from sponsoring his university education, the business has been helping him to support his family.
I started learning this before I even graduated. Okay. I can even say that I inherited the work from my father. Okay. I started learning it when I was just like a kid. Okay. So I developed my passion in it since I grew up with it, and I use it to sponsor my education. I have younger ones, but I'm still supporting this education and parenting because my father is of age now.
According to him, after staying for more than a decade in the job, he developed passion for it and believed that vulcanizing would help him in life. And why he continues to remain in the job even after graduation, Husseini said being a graduate didn't mean one cannot engage in smaller businesses like vulcanizing, adding that these days, being a graduate does not mean making it in life.
That era or that time was already gone. It was in those days that as soon as you graduate, inshallah, just like a kind of heavy automatic job or employment. They're all like these days. Things have changed. So we need to have a second thought. We need to sit ourselves down and tell ourselves the truth. That please and please now, don't look down on any work or any menial job. Please start doing something. Start from somewhere before you get to somewhere.
He, however, called on Nigerian youths, especially graduates, to engage in any business that can sustain their lives, since getting a white-collar job is becoming increasingly difficult in the country.
Operators of radio stations in Kano are being forced to shut down transmission due to increasing cost of diesel. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that some of these stations are transmitting less than 10 hours a day. His report.
According to chief executive officers of various radio stations in Kano, the cost of diesel is gradually becoming a threat to broadcast media industry, having depended on diesel to transmit 24 hours.
On behalf of the private media, or because I'm talking on behalf of the media, private media organizations, to ask the government please to come in. Because if these things has not been done, if anything has not been done to this, maybe likely the operational capabilities of the media, especially private, must come down.
For those who are transmitting 24 hours, The airtime has been slashed down to between 10 to 18 hours. Others say they are spending nothing less than 500,000 naira every 48 hours to buy diesel.
Considering that and then running that every day for the period that the grid was down, and then even after the grid came up, the power was not fully restored. So we were getting maybe like 2-3 hours a day. So when you consider that and then consider the cost of diesel, where you're buying a liter at almost 700 naira, it's not funny.
With about 20 private radio stations, Kano has over 2,000 people working in various radio stations who are now facing threats of being laid off if the situation persists.
We, the Express Radio management, has sat last 2 weeks ago. We discussed on this very important issue, the higher price of these diesels. And instead of us to think of doing away with our staffs and other obligations, our able managing director, Alhaji Ali Babu Wakasa, has given us time and given us the opportunity to please discuss this very issue subsequently, because he wanted us to advise the management to the other station. How do we find other ways to reduce the cost of this diesel?
Unless adequate electricity is supplied and the cost of diesel is reduced in a way these radio stations can afford, there is likelihood of permanent shutdown by some transmission stations in Kano State. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
As part of efforts to promote transparency and accountability in government business, a non-governmental organization, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch, has presented its Transparency and Integrity Index Methodology Handbook. This follows the need for further guidance of most ministries, departments, and agencies on the methodology and timely implementation of the 2021 Transparency and Integrity Index, TII. The center had earlier launched. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu has details.
Technology-driven solutions are now being deployed to monitor public sector expenditures, strengthen public sector integrity mechanisms, and promote accountability. In strengthening Nigeria's anti-corruption architecture by supporting criminal justice reform and the implementation of enabling policies, programs, and laws, the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch launches a methodology handbook on Transparency and Integrity Index used to checkmate activities of the public sector.
You know, we have a problem of corruption in Nigeria, and every election cycle comes and people talk about corruption. And we found out that it's actually much more expensive to combat corruption after the deed has occurred. So what we try to do is to ensure that one of the indicators of combating corruption is a prevention arm. And the prevention arm entails where people are more transparent. I'm talking about agencies now, ministries, departments, and agencies where they are more transparent. You find that the corruption reduces. So our little assessment of countries that are more developed than Nigeria is that their democracies are deeper because there's more transparency in public finance. So that is why we did this initiative to encourage MDAs, especially as state governors, state governments and local governments, to ensure they are transparent, especially with regards to public finance and other aspects of corruption.
The assessment handbook is expected to guide ministries, departments, and agencies to promote transparency and integrity mechanisms deployed in the public sector using 5 variables and 31 sub-variables to assess the availability of information on public institutions' websites at all levels.
We're trying to encourage MDAs just to be more transparent. Nobody is going to antagonize anybody as they are more transparent with their information. Citizens will know those that are doing well, and those that are not doing well will be encouraged to do well next time.
The initiative by the center contributes to Nigeria's goal of reducing corruption by supporting Nigerian-led efforts that strengthen accountability, transparency, and participation. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and Chairman, FCT Judicial Service Committee, Justice Hussaini Baba, says access to justice for victims of health rights violations has been an issue of grave concern in Nigeria. He said this during a human rights sensitization and legal training workshop on tuberculosis organized by Lawyers Alert, a non-profit and human rights organization. Hamid Oyebade filed in this report.
The sensitization and legal training workshop on tuberculosis in Abuja focused on the vital roles of the court and lawyers in promoting human and health rights. The Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory and Chairman of FCT Judicial Service Committee, Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf, who was represented by a judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Olukayode Adeniyi, said international human rights law has gone a step further to provide for the right to health through inclusive and resilient healthcare for all.
To sensitize our judicial officers for the need to enforce such rights when such matters come before them on discrimination against citizens on grounds of health, and this will, like I said, a judge will not fabricate a case, but the lawyers also need to be more proactive. Lawyers should be more sensitized to take up such matters.
The Director and the National Coordinator of National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control Program at the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Chukwuma Anyike, said the program was aimed at making Nigeria free of tuberculosis.
The National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control has demanded to make Nigeria free of tuberculosis, to save lives, to kick out tuberculosis in the country. And all what we have been doing is basically on two strategies: improve on prevention, improve on the diagnostic, and improve on our treatment.
The president of Lawyers Alert, Mr. Rami Mum, called on the executive and legislative arm of governments in the country to ensure adequate funding for the initiatives and programs put in place to end tuberculosis in Nigeria.
Our parliamentarians, the National Assembly, including the executive, need to channel more resources into TB work. We need to resource TB work. It's about allocations, it's about implementations, it's about release of funding and all of that.
Also speaking, the Executive Director, the Briche Health Development Center, Mrs. Deborah Oguche Ike, said tuberculosis survivors and those undergoing treatment should be at the forefront of the advocacy and efforts to end tuberculosis.
We already know stigma and discrimination is a huge barrier to ending TB in Nigeria, and I feel that one of the very, very basic and important as well as strategic approach to ending TB really is putting TB affected communities, for example TB survivors and TB people on treatment at the forefront of the response.
Comptroller General, Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, has charged men and officers of the service to prevent the smuggling of food items out of the country to prevent imminent food shortage. The Comptroller General said this through the Comptroller of Customs in Katsina, Dalawada, in a continuation of interaction between customs and border community at Kongolom border town, Meadua local government area of the state. The idea is to foster understanding and unity between the service and border communities. Abdullah Yamadi completes the story.
The Katsina State Controller of the Nigeria Customs Service, DC Dalha Wadachedi, gave the hint during an interactive session at a Customs Community Relations Forum held at Kongolom border town in Meadua local government area of Katsina State. He said even though the functions of the Nigeria Customs Service are full of challenges, it is imperative to take measures that will stop the smuggling of food such as maize, gari, and other foodstuffs, as the Russia-Ukraine war has seriously affected the importation of food such as wheat, among others, which will seriously affect the Nigeria's food security. The controller of the service said border communities are very crucial in achieving the objective, hence the need for the sensitization. We always encourage people to follow due process. If you follow due process and pay customs duty and all other obligations, why should you give a customs officer bribe? It is against our norms and values. It is against the profession to give bribe or to take bribe. Therefore, we encourage people to follow due process. The Emir of Daura, represented by the Galadimon Daura Alhaji Didiri Ahmad, who assured the support of people of Kongolam and other border communities in Daura Emirates, lamented the excesses of some customs officers who use force to some extent, kill innocent people in the process. He, however, commended the present controller of the Katsina State Command of the Nigeria Customs Service, where he said there is a significant drop in the cases of smuggling of contrabands and the sour relationship that exists between communities and the Nigeria Customs Service.
It's prohibited. We don't want it. And we are giving them all the cooperations to succeed in curtailing the smuggling of the what you call contrabands.
Youth leaders and
By way of breaking news, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has announced Saturday, 2nd of April 2022 as equivalent to first day of the holy month of Ramadan 1443 after Hijrah, which signifies the beginning of the Ramadan fast in Nigeria. This follows the sighting of the moon in several areas in Nigeria. And we continue now.
In the holy month of Ramadan, were received from various Islamic leaders across the country, and we duly approved and admitted the messages sent to us to confirm the sighting of the new moon to bring in the holy month of Ramadan.
Moving on now, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has engaged relevant stakeholders in a validation meeting of nutrition guidelines to improve the National School Feeding Program. The National Coordinator, National Social Investment Program of the ministry, Umar Binder, said the aim was to have a globally acceptable document.
We have now developed a nutritional guideline with the help of the Nutrition Society of Nigeria. So it's all not just local content, it's totally local on how do we do things, how do we train our cooks, how do we feed our children, what kind of foods can make up the menus of our local food materials. We worked very hard for nearly 2 years to develop this standard institutionalized document, and we're here to validate it.
As we know, some of the objectives of the school feeding program is to boost enrollment, attendance of pupils, and also boost the nutrition status of those children in those schools. This nutrition status is one of the most important components or objective of the program, and this is what brought about development of this nutrition guidelines that we're here today to validate. The nutrition guidelines development became so important to us because, as you know, the state government develops a menu, working with the state nutrition officers of those states. The menus have to reflect, 80% of that menu has to reflect what's readily available within that state.
A child that is hungry cannot perform complex tasks like arithmetic and mathematics in school. He will have poor attention in class, So we can name and go on like that. It increases their performance because of, being attentive in class, reducing school absenteeism, reducing frequent illnesses. When a child does not feed well, we know what results we are going to have: malnutrition.
The Center for Information Technology and Development, CITAD, has organized an interactive lecture series in Gombe State to inspire youths on attitudinal change ahead of the 2023 general elections. In the sessions, CITAD advised the participants to prepare and vote wisely in the forthcoming elections to ensure that credible leaders emerge. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The Center for Information Technology and Development CITAD said it chose Gombe because it discovered some inspiring youth in the state. The organization added that the forum will give directions to the participants in the upcoming 2023 general elections.
Young people are more in majority than other category of Nigerians. So if young people use this numerical strength, they can decide what form of government we would have here. And so our message is for them to look carefully, select carefully, and elect people on the basis of credible programs, and not just because they either know they or they are from these ethnic groups or from this religion.
Some of the participants shared different experience again in the session.
One of the things I've learned is integrity and commitment. From his story, I realized that one of the things that young aspiring leaders are lacking is integrity. In a slice of show for bribery or some weakness or unsuccessful commitment that we encounter, we may easily give up.
When we make our children to be great, it doesn't mean we don't love them. Yes, we love them. But apart from loving them, we have to make them great, even while they will stand without us. So I think this is the most important thing.
I think this event has provided us with the opportunity to understand that there is hope in Nigeria. As we know that Nigeria today is facing devastating problems that seems to be insurmountable. We see in every sector challenges are just emanating, and sadly the leaders are doing nothing to curtail the myriad of problems which today have been an issue in this country.
CITAD donated some reading materials to the National Library of Nigeria, Gombe State. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The National Association of Nigerian Students is kicking against the hike in the prices of DSTV and GoTV bouquet by the company MultiChoice. The content distributor had announced an increase in its tariffs by the 1st of April as a result of what it called inflationary trends, but the students' body is having none of it. National Public Relations Officer of NANS, Comrade Victor Ezenagu, speaks to Chamunda Beng, and this is the report.
Our stand is simple. We reject in totality the idea of increasing the tariff. We are aware that Nigeria is the biggest market for MultiChoice, and as such, a lot of consideration should be given to us. In fact, I want to blame the government on the issue of MultiChoice, because if the government had given a lateral open window for other competitors to come in, I am sure MultiChoice will be at the begging side, not trying to increase the tariff at any time. So we are against the increase in tariff in totality.
Competition and Consumer Protection (CCP) Tribunal sitting in Abuja has restrained MultiChoice Nigeria Limited from increasing the cost of its products. This is welcome news for NANS, which is strongly opposed to the price increase.
MultiChoice can't be complaining about the inflation and the rest, because one is they are even duping Nigerians. They are duping us in the sense that people pay, they charge us on a monthly basis against pay as you view that is obtainable in some other countries in Europe. In fact, people in Nigeria pay for what they don't use. Imagine a house where somebody will pay for a month subscription, and you only spend 3 hours in a day in that house to use TV. The remaining hours of the day is a waste. So MultiChoice, if truly they want to do something, I think the first thing they should do is, first of all, introduce pay as you view. Now, if it's pay as you view, and you're now maybe raising tariff, people can understand it that, okay, after all, it's when I want to view that the unit will go down. So in fact, there is no complaint, there is no justification for them, for MultiChoice. We are in total cancellation of increasing tariff. The government needs to create a level ground for other persons, for there to be competition in that sector. If there is competition in that sector, we won't be talking about this. So the moment there are some other people who are ready to do same business and provide same services, government should give them enabling, even indigenous-based business persons. Government should support them so that those persons, even if MultiChoice those businesses will be established and they will still absorb those persons who left.
This comes on the heels of the Senate's decision on Wednesday to constitute a 7-man ad hoc committee to comprehensively investigate the tariff hike by DSTV. The committee is also assigned with the task of aligning MultiChoice Nigeria's pricing activities with international practices. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to the foreign scene. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Thursday said the situation in the south and the Donbas region remained extremely difficult and reiterated that Russia is building up forces near the besieged city of Mariupol, adding that they still need to go down a very difficult path to get everything that they need. The United Nations says the number of Ukrainian refugees fleeing Russia's war in their country has crossed 4.1 million, adding that the tragedy must stop. Reports say women and children account for 90% of those who have fled. Half of those are children. Ukrainian men aged 18 to 60 are eligible for military call-up and cannot leave. UNICEF says more than half of the country's estimated 7.5 million children have been displaced, 2.5 million internally and 2 million abroad. To sports now, England will face the United States, while Mexico will take on Argentina following the draw for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. 2018 champions France have been drawn with Denmark, while Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal have been paired with Uruguay. Host Qatar are in Group A with Netherlands. Brazil take on Switzerland in the pools. Belgium drew Croatia, while European giants Spain and Germany are in what looks like the group of death. We will now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports.
Nigerian Football Federation has decried stream of incorrect reports being peddled in section of media in connection with Tuesday's FIFA World Cup.
And that's it on the News Hour. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Diran Onifade. Thanks for watching.